Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome to the Big Ticket Live. Tonight we will be covering the RNC and the breaking news that Biden may be dropping out. We don't have total confirmation of that yet, but it is becoming more and more likely that it may be true. John Tester of Minnesota, or not Minnesota, that's embarrassing. John Tester of Montana has just now called on Biden to drop out. If you don't know, Montana is a major swing state in the Senate. This is breaking news, if it's true. I mean, the Montana thing is true. The Biden dropping out may not be true. Um, but this is a very big deal. The Democrats are reportedly in disarray. Biden is expected to make a major announcement about his future not long after the RNC convention concludes. Bloomberg reports that some members of the president of the cabinet are having private discussions on whether or not it's time to sit him down and say it's time to go. If with Tester calling for him to go, this is a very big deal. Um, this is an important state, and yeah, Tucker was on earlier. I should probably put the probably. There's no captions on this feed. Okay, that's funny. What's this? I don't know what this is. Is Trump coming on? Where's the one? Why can't I ever get a feed with captions? Why do all? Oh, here we go. RNC. There we go. But yes, this is a very big deal. Um, so, I mean, the implications are just huge when you think about it. For someone getting on Discord? Ben? Oh, okay. I'm gonna just mute Mark real quick. So he knows what's going on here. This is just a very I don't even know what to say about that if Biden really did drop out. Also breaking, there was an attack on the U.S. consulate in Tel Aviv. A large drone approached Tel Aviv low altitude from the direction of Mediterranean Sea before passing over the consulate and striking a building not far off from it. So it was an attempt to hit the U.S. embassy, which is also very shocking. Wow, what a day! All this, and I was not looking at the internet. The one day I am like, I'm gonna not spend time. Tester is calling for an open convention. Oh wow. So you have to wonder what they're seeing. Like, what are the Democrats seeing? Like, what are they seeing to make them say this? Because again, the polls are showing Trump getting ahead, but they're more so showing Biden falling behind. And to me, that makes me wonder, where is this going in the sense of does Biden not have the votes, or does Trump have the votes? Because again, we talked about it a lot last night, but there's a huge implication. Give me 1 second. I'm just texting Mark. This is. I mean, the fact Tester is calling for this. I mean, this is. This is like 1968, and this is unprecedented. We have not seen this happen in the recent time. We haven't even seen I mean, everything about the last, the Trump Biden era has been unprecedented. Unprecedented global pandemic, etc. But I mean, for Biden to have the complete abandonment by his own people is huge. And then you look at the Republicans, and they're all swaying a hat. But the fact that John Tester is calling for it, and I'm sure if he's calling for it, Chuck Schumer is. So we're actually going to allow. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Sitting member of Congress that's done it. Obviously, him being a prominent senator who's up, who already, Biden's running 20 points behind Trump in some polls in Montana. Tester up.
I mean, I don't imagine a world where Tester wins re-election. because I believe Warner, if he is the one on the ballot, he has called on Biden to resign. No, Kane's on the ballot. Okay. I don't believe Kane is currently calling on Biden to resign, though I'd have to look. Um, I'm not completely familiar with the race. I would say it's likely still going to go Democratic. Um, this guy got no endorsements. What's the polls show? Though with Biden dropping, and the polls, at least that are on Wikipedia, they do show that undecideds and others, if they come together, they could give him a very slim. It's unlikely because again, Kane is generally above the 50 mark. Well, I think um, the Republican Hunkel needs to really start to convince these other people to either come over or not come over. Because, yeah. It's interesting, as Youngkin would have been a slightly stronger candidate, but he still. No, actually, he would have been a significant. No, this is from 2 years ago. We can't look at that. But yeah, I mean, that's huge, Montana. I mean, if Montana is the thing that can gets Biden off the ballot, that would be insane, especially because Montana is likely to flip. And I still have no one to join the stream. That's awkward. Anyone in the chat? No. Hmm. I mean, realistically, let's look at the presidential race for a second. Like, let's look at where it is today. You have for the Republicans, you have their general, the 2012 states, I'd say, plus or less Arizona. Um, I'd say it looks something like that. All right, 258. There we go. For the Democrats, I always forget Alaska. For the Democrats, it's looking something more like this. So, oh, I did Virginia. I knew that didn't look right. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, so right now Republicans are sitting comfortably around, I'd say 251. I think Georgia's pretty comfortable in flipping back. Maybe North Carolina's a little bit of a waste of money, but is a Robinson. But I mean, realistically, if you want to be really, I guess fair, we could say it looks something like this: 219, 215. I mean, I think I'm being generous to the Democrats, but regardless, Republicans, if they can win Georgia, win North Carolina, all they need at that point is Georgia, Arizona, and Nebraska second. That's your. I mean, it's risky, but that's your cleanest path to victory. And it's even better if you can get Wisconsin, and then you don't need Nevada, and you don't need the second. That was the third. You don't need the second. I mean, this is a legitimate victory right here. 272. You don't need the rest. You don't need. You're not going to win Minnesota. You're not. You don't need Michigan. You don't need Pennsylvania, which I think are a little bit more out of reach. This is a safe, comfortable win, and I'm not really sure why. And I think that's the one advantage Vance brings is he gets you Wisconsin, and maybe he gets you a little bit more room in Pennsylvania. But you need Arizona, and Arizona worries me for the Republicans because I haven't seen them do anything to make them more palatable. People aren't anti-Republican in Arizona; they're anti-MAGA. Carrie Lake did very badly for what it should have been. Again, I'm not saying she did bad, but she didn't win, and to me, that's not very good. When that race was very winnable and it was very close, and she was like, "McCain voters, get out of here," and it's like, really? In Arizona, the state with the most independents, registered independent, I believe the largest share of registered independents of any state. That's what you're gonna be doing. And it's like it's cool in the moment. You're like, oh yeah, go Carrie Lake, tell them off. Was it really a good idea? You know, Irregardless of the Senate race, having her on the ballot and Trump is a bad idea. I think if you had someone more quote unquote respectable, now that's not to say I don't like Carrie Lake or I think she's not respectable, but I mean she did the whole voter fraud thing and that was a pretty dumb idea. I think she would have been better off just admitting the loss, taking the L, and coming back in 24 for Senate more respectable. She's still young, new. She didn't make herself too toxic. But instead, she dragged it out just like Trump did in 2020. But she doesn't appear to have learned the humility, I guess, that Trump's learned from his loss. But if I was the Republican strategist, I would do this. I would go Wisconsin and Arizona because Georgia and North Carolina should, generally speaking, fall back into place as long as you don't, do anything to mess it up. But you should be able to, we've seen Georgia vote outside of the one Senate race, which was a bit of a clown show. You had the general slate of Republicans all win about the same percent, around 52, 53, 54%. Kemp, everyone, they all did great. They were all very consistent. Um, and now here we are, and so you have Georgia, you have North Carolina, you have Arizona, and you have Wisconsin, and there you go. Wisconsin's you do Romney 2012, because I'll show you guys back in the when Romney wins 2012. I'm just looking for examples of what that would look like. No, no. Are there no like alternate maps of here? Here's some. Like for example, Romney wins Nevada, Colorado. What is this? What is this map? Man, that aged terribly. Ohio votes to the okay. It's just weird to see some. Yeah, it's just weird to see some of these. Like, what's this map? They had Romney winning via Virginia, Ohio, and Iowa, and New Hampshire. Yeah, so you can see that the Rust Belt, they weren't banking too hard on the Rust Belt. They were going off the Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia. I would say Georgia is your Virginia in 2012. That didn't make sense, but whatever. It's
Hello.
fine. Oh, hello, we're live.
Hello, everyone.
Did
My
you hear the
computer took
news?
10 minutes to start. Yeah.
Jon Tester
What?
has called on Joe
Yeah, yeah,
Biden.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, that is insane.
Well, it's really not the most insane person to tell him. I mean, we got Adam Schiff. We reportedly have Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. It's over for Biden. He's going to drop out within the next 3 days.
That's what they're saying on Twitter. And in all honesty with you, I'm looking at the map right now, and I'm telling you, man, I'm fully committed on my Georgia, Wisconsin, and Arizona triangle. It's just like 2012, but instead of Virginia and Colorado, it's Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin. The current
What do you mean by
electoral.
that?
Here, I'll share my screen. Um, Here, look at that. No, it's not live. Now it is. Okay.
I see. Oh, are you predicting a narrow Trump victory?
I think this is like strategy wise. If I was the Trump campaign, this would be my plan. Go for Wisconsin, go for Arizona, go for Georgia, go for Nevada, and go for Nebraska second. Because what can happen is if you lose Wisconsin, you can still win with Nevada and Nebraska second in a tie. So it's a backup plan. It's a contingency. I wouldn't go for Michigan. In Pennsylvania, I don't know if there's too much crap there that it makes it unwinnable.
Hmm. Okay, so I have a question for both of you. What do you
With
think
me.
is the
Mark is
what? Oh, Mark's not here.
he'll
Okay.
be back.
Oh. Okay. Well, I got a question for both of you.
Here.
What do you think is the easiest state for Trump to win, and the hardest state for Trump to win?
The easiest swing state, right? We're not gonna. Otherwise,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Massachusetts is my understanding is a pretty hard
Yeah,
state.
yeah. No,
Ben.
swing state wise.
So, I would say Michigan is the hardest. Georgia.
I agree.
So like, if here, I'm gonna read the fine swing states. So, I'm gonna include Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, like states that have flipped either in 2016 or 2012. So flipped from 2012 to 16, or flipped from 16 to 20. I'll count as swing states. So like Ohio, so like Indiana didn't flip, for example, or North Carolina. But Ohio and Iowa are easily for Trump. Are we counting Ohio as a swing state? Because that's the easiest for Trump.
No,
Okay.
Ohio is not
So
swing
we'll do
state.
Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania. We'll do the blue. We'll do the Rust Belt plus Arizona and Georgia. The Biden flips, essentially. The easiest for Trump to flip back is Georgia. The hardest is Michigan. I would say then the easiest second one for Trump is Arizona. The easiest next one for Biden is Pennsylvania, and that leaves the winner. The next president wins Wisconsin. You know what I mean? So if Trump wins Wisconsin, he's done.
Yeah.
He's gotten it. Like this is to me the strongest map you can get from a strategy standpoint, even if it is divisive. Plus, you really want to try to get
All right.
Nevada in there, and Nebraska's second because it gives you a contingency if Wisconsin does the funny and creates the 269. I mean, could you imagine if how stupid you'd feel if Nebraska's second goes blue and it's 270 to 268?
Yeah,
Because this is
that
fully a
hurts.
plausible. This would hurt to look at, and it's all because of this stupid Nebraska's second. So you don't want to do that. You want to win Nebraska's second. Nebraska's second is very valuable for Trump. He won it in 16. Bacon did very well in 22. It's not a very MAGA area. They don't like the MAGA, but I do think Trump needs to start focusing on it. Biden has a big campaign going on over there.
Hmm. I see. Now, I got another question. So Biden got 81 million votes. I think we all agree he's not going to get 81 million votes again. How many do you think he's going to get?
I think the overall turnout. Oh wait, that's Trump's on the floor. Hold on, Trump's walk. Oh wait, this was a few minutes ago. I think over under we're under 150 million votes total. So we're under what?
Okay.
So we get less than last time. I think we're over 130, 140. I think we're somewhere in between 130 and 150. So I'd say Trump maybe gets around maybe 70 million for Trump, 72 million for Biden. So the Trump base mostly comes back in 24, but I think the Biden base, while he still wins the popular vote, because I don't think Trump has a path to win the popular vote. I just don't think it's mathematically there for him. It's just the nature of the beast. Trump does not go for it's not his strategy to go for popular. But I do think the Biden campaign is mostly the press, but they still come out just by being a larger overall base.
I see. I see. Where is Hulk Hogan, man?
Hulk Hogan. Where is it?
He
What do you
he
think's
was.
going on in? What do you think's happening in Maryland right now? Do you think it's
What's happening in Maryland?
Well, there's the Larry Hogan race in the Senate.
Oh, Larry Hogan's not going to win. Are you kidding me? Hold on. He's running against like a. I know her name. What's it's
Oh,
like
the Ninth
something.
Circuit Court of Appeals rules that voters in Arizona who register to vote in the state but don't provide proof of citizenship will be rejected. Well, that's all. That's
That's
common
a
sense. That's good.
that's a good
Breaking at 7:40,
measure.
Joe Biden will give a televised speech in which he reveals information that will lead to the indictment of Hillary Clinton. Oh, it's over for him. Oh, it has never been so over
We
for
have
Joe Biden.
information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton.
Next day, you just see Joe Biden resigns. Oh no, it's over.
I'm telling you, dude, they're gonna it's gonna be all secret at the convention. It's gonna be all weird, and it's gonna be like open convention. At the end, it's gonna be like, we nominate Hillary Clinton, and she walks
Could you
out. And
imagine
now
the rematch of the century?
I've been saying for 8 years that she can still win. So I think this is her. This is her time.
Here's
my
how
gosh. Everyone's
Bernie.
saying
Here's how Bernie can still win. How's
like
my audio, by the way? Is the fan too loud?
you sound fine to me.
Do you hear the fan?
I mean, no, I don't hear anything.
Fan.
Okay, hi Mark.
Hi,
Did you hear
I've been here.
John Tester calls on Joe Biden not to run again?
I did not hear that. Wow, that's pretty
That's
big.
a big one.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna lose his seat.
Hillary Clinton is telling donors to stick with Joe. This is funny. The Biden Wins account on Twitter, like Joe Biden posting W's account, has said that Hillary Clinton is calling on Biden donors to stay with him and that she's never wrong. And then it's just a reply to that with the happy birthday to this future president tweet. Um, I don't think it matters who you put on the ballot. Um, I don't think there's enough time for America. Like, I don't think the threat of Trump is enough. Like, this new guy's here. You know, like people. I'm not gonna say people like Biden, but people, they know him at least. All right, now we have Mark.
Yeah,
Now we have Mark Warner and Tester. So we have Virginia and Montana. The fact that we're now in Virginia and Montana is getting interesting. These are two very important Senate seats.
I mean, the thing is that the Democrats, they're so high. Not, like, I don't say this as an insult. I just say it as it is. They're very hive mind in how they
They are.
behave. I
Republicans
don't
really shouldn't
think
be
they're
talking.
gonna vote. Yeah, I know they're gonna vote for a Democrat no matter who they put on. So I like we're in an age where I don't think it really matters who the president is. Most of the time, they're gonna get the same policies pushed no matter who is really up there, unless it's like I mean,
Hey
there's
guys,
gonna be differences between Biden and Sanders,
I need
but
to ask you guys something. What do you? So as you know, JD Vance is married. So there was a tweet that someone. So it was Kamala Harris and JD Vance have agreed to a VP debate, and someone retweeted it, writing, "Trump picked the guy who has experience bickering with an Indian woman, 4D chess." What are your thoughts on this?
yeah, I mean, it sounds right to me.
Sounds like Vance made the long-term play here.
He really did. He found love, and is now perfect, and in turn has now become an expert in
He did
defeating.
this all so he could defeat
It,
Kamala
you
Harris
gotta
in a vice
respect.
presidential debate.
You gotta respect the grind. I definitely do.
You just gotta.
Yeah, this is a pretty based RNC, I have to say.
Did you hear Lou Dobbs died today?
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it really is. Um. Okay. So what are we? What am I reading? So let's take a look at the map again. Mark, I'm very curious. So I have a stream on Discord if you want to look at that as well. I keep wanting to
Okay.
bite this microphone. I don't know why I keep doing that. Like it's near my face, and I'm just like I keep thinking like I need to like I'm holding something to eat, like a candy bar or something. Um. Okay. Do not
Okay.
eat the microphone.
Watching the stream.
So look at the map. What would you say is the most like if the election was today? I'm gonna make the swing states open. So all the states that have flipped or otherwise swing states. So I have a pretty loose swing state map up. How do you fill it?
I'd say, and this is kind of gonna answer one of Ben's questions here, but I'd say Nevada's the easiest state for Trump, and I think Trump's gonna get Nevada.
Someone's been
see, yes.
listening.
And that's because you look at the Hispanic trends, you look at how Nevada was so close in 2022 despite a snowstorm, despite Republicans, being affected by the snowstorm, everything. They won the governorship, and you see Nevada has been trending to the right since I think 2016. I think it's gonna flip this year, no matter what. The
Okay.
hardest state for Trump to flip, and I think this is going to be nearly impossible just because of the trifecta, is Michigan.
I
I
knew
mean,
it. Yeah.
Democrats have the trifecta there. I really don't see Trump winning there at all. I don't see him like changing anything big. I also see Trump winning Ohio. I don't know why you have Ohio as a swing state, but
I put Virginia as one as well. I wanted to be loose enough that we could build up to.
okay.
Yeah, but
Well, I'd
Ohio's
say Ohio is safe red, and I'd say Virginia is
See, that's what's
likely
hard is we don't
likely
have
Democrat.
data. Well, okay. I'm not doing margins by the way. I'm just doing swing states as light and normal
Oh,
states.
okay.
We don't need margins.
Okay.
In North
I'd say
Carolina,
Wisconsin
it's gonna be red.
or North Carolina. Yep.
I'll fill it
There's
real
that
quick.
too.
Yeah,
It's going to be kind of a money dump because of Mark Robinson, but
Yeah.
still. Wisconsin, I believe, goes to Trump.
I agree.
And it's only because you have the Trump base is strong in Wisconsin. You have a lot of these only Trumper voters in Wisconsin.
Right.
I think
Very
I can
true.
see Trump pushing the needle enough in the Rust Belt to at least flip one of the states in the Rust Belt, to flip at least one of the states in the blue wall. And I think the easiest state to do that is Wisconsin.
Right.
And then it goes to Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. And I think these are going to be I think these are going to be your three closest states. I think these are going to be less than 1%. All of these are going to be, as a result, by less than
You
1%.
think Georgia's going to be that close?
I think Georgia will be close. I think Georgia will be
closer than Nevada?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep. Right now, I believe. But I think Georgia will still go Republican. I think that Arizona, dang, it's going to be like 50-50 in
There's
Arizona
so
and
many
Pennsylvania.
independents there at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. It really depends on how Carrie Lake runs her campaign. I'm going to assume it's Democrat right now. I'm just going to assume it's Democrat. And then Pennsylvania is going to be the ultimate swing state. It's going to be the final swing state. And I'm going to say right now it goes Republican. The polls are really supporting it. I know you can't trust the polls, but polls are really supporting it.
Oh, what about Nebraska's second?
Oh, Nebraska's second. Oh.
Because here's the.
Well,
I'm sorry. I have Nebraska's second in there as a Republican by accident. Whoops. That should be neutral. I didn't mean to do that. So
Nebraska's second moment.
Yeah, I think that goes. I think Nebraska's second goes Democrat, just because Biden's running a campaign in there. Trump's not really running a campaign in there as much.
He's not there at all. There was just an article out about how like the Biden's all there and Trump's like crickets. I don't know. I think Trump's strategy is Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. I agree with you. That's what he's trying to do. I think this map is very similar to what the Trump campaign is looking at, but without Nevada. I think he's all in on the Rust Belt. I think Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia is his strategy. Or you could change Georgia out for Nevada and Arizona. They're equal in votes, so it really doesn't matter. If you take out Nevada and give Trump Arizona or just give Trump Arizona, he wins the presidency anyway.
True.
If you give Trump Nevada and get rid of Arizona, he wins the presidency. He doesn't need Arizona or Georgia if he wins Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Nevada.
That's in Pennsylvania. That's right.
Pennsylvania is just such a big. I just don't know if Pennsylvania is winnable. Oh, they're talking about it. Oh, hey, look,
there's still a lot of negatives about Trump that they can take advantage of.
Really?
But the bottom line, Joe Biden's party is fearing this kind of
they have
outcome.
Michigan in red.
Though we should also note,
they have Virginia
these are the numbers that have them nervous about Joe Biden.
RCP too. Trump took the lead in the RCP.
Yeah, he's up by 0.4 in real clear politics.
This result.
Wow. And that's why there's been so much.
Well, man, like 3 weeks ago, I was pretty doomer, pretty like this could go either way, but I'm honestly seeing very solid Trump performance.
I am too at the moment, but I'm not confident.
I'm cautious.
If you asked me, if you put a gun to my head and said, "I'm gonna shoot each of your children if you don't for each state you get wrong," I'm just gonna put them all as Biden, and I'd lose less kids. I feel like. I know that's a really weird analogy, but like gun to my head type thing, cut off a finger for every state you get wrong. I'd lose less fingers betting on Biden on all of these, just because I don't know. I feel like if we look at the map right now, I don't know if Virginia is swing. If we look at the map right now, Trump has, even if Trump wins, Trump might win the presidency. He'll probably get Nevada. He'll probably get Georgia, and he'll probably get Arizona, and that gives him. Why is Nebraska second blue? Not
268.
268. But my biggest fear going into election night will be that Trump wins the Georgia, Arizona, flips Nevada, and then goes on to lose Nebraska second and loses the Rust Belt. And he'll have wasted money on like Michigan or on New Jersey and not Nebraska second. And then he'll end up losing because he couldn't be bothered to visit a little congressional district.
Yeah.
He's got to do something. Nebraska second gives him so much more pathways to the presidency. At worst, it's a contingency because this map is a real map. And it's a scary map.
Indeed, it is.
It's terrifying to look at this, but it's a map. And
it's very possible.
Based on the midterms, this is the map. In all honesty.
There has not been a speaker for 23 minutes.
I know. Tucker was on. That was weird.
Bro, what are they doing?
Trump is probably getting all hyped up.
I know, but Trump's not on until like 40 minutes from now.
No, 9:30.
9:30.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Jim Costa is calling on Biden to drop out. Jeez, they're dropping like flies.
Do you guys think Trump performs better or worse if Kamala Harris is the nominee?
I have no idea. See, the problem with
Worse.
Harris is she's just she's so weird. It's hard to know.
Yeah, and Harris is more unpopular than Biden.
Yeah, the only thing I could see is she could be tougher on Trump because she's not the literal incumbent, even if she is really unlikable.
And she's at least competent.
She's a cop, though.
Yeah. Oh. We're Law and Order. Law and Order.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris is the only one who could flip Idaho, guys.
Kamala Harris.
Mark, would you vote for Kamala Harris?
No, I'd still vote for Trump. I'd vote for Blump.
Plump. Kamala or Plump? Bro, Steve Daines is saying Republicans can win New Mexico and Virginia. We've learned nothing from last year.
We learned nothing from 2022.
Focus on when it's better to have a 51-seat majority than a 49-seat minority.
Exactly.
Oh, he's coming out.
Oh, he is.
Is he speaking?
No, I don't think so. I'm on Associated Press on YouTube.
Yeah, the problem with Associated Press is they don't. Oh yeah, now I'm on. I see him. I'm using ABC. I can't use Okay, I'm putting sound on, so let's listen in. He's coming up with his family. All right, this is gonna be a big one.
And John, I got a kick out of the fact that he even earlier in the week was saying, I wonder if this patch will be off by the time I get to Thursday. And we still got an hour and a half before he speaks. An hour or so.
Oh wait, no, we still have an hour and a half before he speaks.
Up on the stage.
I know.
But he doesn't.
I thought he was speaking at 9:30. Oh, because we're not in you.
Like that. Do you remember when he had COVID
come on.
and he came back?
Yeah, we're in.
I wouldn't have gone live so early.
There you see Ivanka Trump. This is the first.
No, I think we're an
major
entertaining
event that we've seen
trio.
Ivanka Trump, Jared
Is anyone
Kushner, her
actually
husband,
watching?
this campaign cycle.
Oh, we have 3 people watching. No, we have an active chat.
Never mind.
Hello and welcome to the stream. Wait, did Biden drop out? He may have. We don't know yet, but there is a big rumor going around that he plans to drop out soon. Biggest election hot take.
Jared's office was right.
I don't know.
Right
we just had some pretty big hot takes the last few minutes.
John Santucci, it's been a while since we saw all of them together.
Yeah, David, this is going to be the first time we've seen them all together. Is looking at the images, seeing them.
I think it's smart that Trump doesn't mention Biden in his speech.
Yeah, that's
because Biden's not even going to be the candidate.
From them since January of 2021, when they were
at this rate, he's not going to be the candidate. Like, I was a firm believer he was going to be the candidate, but now these past few days, I don't know.
It's weird because in like Monday, Tuesday, it felt like Biden was going to have this big rally effect around now that Trump was shot. Like, it would be good for Biden because Democrats would realize that they got to like just pay attention, focus on the mission, and that Trump's like.
Oh, it's Hulk Hogan.
Oh my God, it is Hulk Hogan.
Bro, go on stage, Hulk. What are you doing?
Wow.
I want a Hulk Hogan
Thank
speech.
you. We're seeing the family. We're also seeing that quick shot.
He's supposed to speak. I think he's gonna come out.
Yeah, brother.
Making sort of a political debut. He
Oh,
toyed
no,
with the
this-
idea of running
Imagine
This is what
if
I-
Trump
this is what I
beats
come for.
Harris
several
and he
years
goes
back.
on to be the first and
He
second
endorsed
president.
Barack Obama years
Sorry, he
ago.
goes on to beat the first and
Clearly
second
here to
president to
endorse
beat the
Donald Trump
first and
tonight.
second woman
He
nominee.
called what the country witnessed on Saturday
Wow,
deeply
that would be
disturbing,
really funny.
and he's here tonight for
Oh,
Donald.
he's speaking.
By the way, I think and Donald Trump are both members of the WWE Hall of Fame. So
They were involved in events together years ago.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, events at Atlantic City, and Hulk Hogan, also a performer, egging on the crowd here. Said he was deeply moved by what he saw on Saturday. I think
Well,
many
let
people
me
were.
tell you something, brother. You know something? When I came here tonight, there was so much energy in this room. I felt maybe I was in Madison Square Garden getting ready to win another world title. Or maybe I thought the vibe was so intense, the energy was so crazy, it felt like maybe I was gonna press that no-good, stinky giant over my head and slam him through the mat, brother. But what I found out was I was in a room full of real Americans, brother. And at the end of the day, with our leader up there, my hero, that gladiator, we're gonna bring America back together. One real American at a time, brother. You know something? I've seen some great tag teams in my time. Hulk Hogan and, ooh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage. But you know something? I see the greatest tag team of my life standing upon us, getting ready to straighten this country out for all the real Americans. You know, even though you guys are real Americans, you better get ready. Because when Donald J. Trump becomes the president of the United States, all the real Americans are going to be nicknamed Trumpites. Because all the Trumpites are going to be
Mr.
running
Hogan,
wild for 4 years.
we'd like clarification, please.
So with the power of Donald J. Trump and all the Trumpites
What did he mean by that?
America is going to get back on track.
Freudian slip
like
or
Donald
mess
J.
up?
Trump said, America is going to be great again. You know, when I look out and I see all the real Americans, I think about how Donald Trump, his family was compromised. When I look out there and I see Donald Trump, I think about how his business was compromised. But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
I had no idea Hulk Hogan was such a big Trump fan.
Yeah, me neither.
Wow, look at that.
It's always surprising when you see a celebrity.
Dude, look at Trump.
You know something, Trumpites? I didn't come here as Hulk Hogan, but I just had to give you a little taste. You know, my name is Terry Bollea. And as an entertainer, I love you too. And as an entertainer, I tried to stay out of politics. But after everything that's happened to our country over the past 4 years, and everything that happened last weekend, I can no longer stay silent.
What state does Hulk Hogan win Donald Trump
I'm here
tonight?
tonight because I want the world to know that Donald Trump is a real American hero. And I'm proud to support my hero as the next president of this United States. You know, guys, I've known Donald Trump for over 35 years. You know, hold on a second, hold on. I just had a flashback. Man. This is really tripping. You know, the last time I was up on stage, Donald Trump was sitting at ringside at the Trump Plaza. I was bleeding like a pig, and I won the world title right in front of Donald J. Trump. And you know something? He's gonna win in November, and we're all gonna be champions again when he wins. And like I said, I've known that man for over 35 years, and he's always been the biggest patriot, and he still is. He's always told you exactly what he thought, and he still does, brother. And no matter the odds, he always finds a way to win. And when he's
Other
back in
people
our
have
White
noticed
House,
that Donald Dick
America
Trump-
is going to start winning again. You know, guys, over my career, I've been in the ring with some of the biggest, some of the baddest dudes on the planet. And I've squared off against warriors, ooh yeah, savages. And I've even, like I said, body slammed giants in the middle of the ring. And I know tough guys. But let me tell you something, brother. Donald Trump is the toughest of them all. They've thrown everything at Donald Trump. All the investigations, the impeachments, the court cases, and he's still standing and kicking their butts. You know, we never had it better than the Trump years. Back then, we had a thriving economy. We had strong borders. We had safe streets. We had peace and respect around the world. But then we lost it all in a blink of an eye. Crime is out of control. The border is out of control. The price of food and gas and housing is out of control. And the only person who can clean this up is Donald Trump. You know, guys, I really, really love this country. And I've lived the American dream. And I want my kids, your kids, and all those little teeny Hulkamaniacs out there to live the American dream too. This November, guys, we can save the American dream for everyone. And Donald Trump is the president who will get the job done. So all you criminals, all you lowlifes, all you scumbags, all you drug dealers, and all you crooked politicians need to answer one question, brother. What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the Trumpomaniacs run wild on you, brother? God bless you, and thank you.
Well, we've seen a lot of speeches covering these political conventions. None quite like that one. He just blew a kiss to Hulk Hogan, the former president.
I mean, David, Donald Trump loves.
Are we gonna get Trump X Hogan?
Wrestling. This has been his thing. Like I said, he is a member of the WWE Hall of Fame.
I can't believe that just happened.
Hulk Hogan wins the RNC.
Up next, Franklin Graham. Of course,
all right, we're gonna.
His father was Billy Graham, who died in February of 2018.
As somebody who
We'll listen to the
watched
Reverend Franklin.
WWE growing up, I love that speech so much.
Yeah, that was cool. I am gonna mute it because the Billy Graham segment is not as important. Or actually, I think Billy Graham passed away. I believe it's his son. But either way, it's some kind of religious speech. So we'll use that time to discuss some questions in the chat. If you had to say what is more likely, Biden wins Florida or Trump wins New York? That's an interesting question.
Trump wins New York is more likely. I believe Florida is way too gone for Democrats. And
Florida,
at least New York has trended to the right recently.
Okay, Ben, I think you have good insight on.
I live in Florida. Florida, this place, dude. I don't know how it went from a swing state, like we're talking like razor thin margin swing state, to like deep red within the span of like half a decade, if not shorter.
No, I agree. I think Georgia is not Georgia. What am I doing? I think New York is far more competitive in a way, but I still think Florida is still more likely to flip just by nature of the last few years.
No.
You think because New York?
You know,
Guys,
it's funny.
New York. Republicans don't have infrastructure there. I mean, Democrats don't either. That's the problem. It's not that one party is more than the other. It's just that they're both disasters in those states. But the New York Republicans are better than the Florida Democrats, so maybe it's that.
You know, that's the thing. When I moved to Florida 2 years ago, I was like, my vote is going to matter more, and that's one good thing about this. And now I'm like, my vote would matter more in New Jersey at this point.
To be fair, where you live, it matters quite a bit.
Where I live, like my district?
I'm not going to say it, but you do you. But I'm just saying your district. Well, to be fair, the district we lived in was pretty competitive.
My district isn't really a swing district anymore.
That's true.
Yeah, me and Josh's districts is pretty competitive too in New Jersey. I'm not going to name a district. I'm not naming any districts, so I'm saying it's pretty competitive.
I can't believe Jeff Van Drew is gonna be our congressman, Mark. What do you think about that?
Jeff Van Drew for the win.
Yeah, I mean Andy Kim has been a great congressman, but you know.
Jeff Van Drew used to be my congressman, at least part-time.
Isn't Andy Kim running for Senate now?
I understood that reference. Yes, he is. Actually, he's going to be replacing Van Drew is resigning. Not Van Drew. What is wrong with
Menendez?
Menendez is resigning.
Well, no, he's running as an independent, but
no, he's resigning. He was convicted.
He's resigning.
Yeah, he's going to quit the Senate.
Like he said, it wouldn't matter whether he got found guilty or innocent.
My God, he's going to jail for 20 years. He's done.
Hold the phone, dude.
What's going on?
Wait a minute. Please tell me this is what I think it is.
What are you saying?
I thought someone did an edit of Bob Menendez's Wario, and I got excited.
Bruh, I thought you were about to scoop something massive.
I thought you were gonna announce that Biden was resigning or something.
Yeah, dude. Bob Menendez's Wario is huge news, dude.
It's like, okay, someone's mic is dying. Okay, Bill O'Reilly. Hold on. Bill O'Reilly has gotten the Trump speech in advance. First part is described. Trump talked about the
No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
I won't spoil it.
This is going to be one of the most important speeches in
To be
God
fair,
knows how
O'Reilly
long.
doesn't really spoil it. He doesn't talk about any details. He just,
O'Reilly comes out and he says Biden's out however long ago.
He might be right. Now here's the question: did he actually have a source, or did he just say that, and then if he turns out he's right, he looks epic?
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, I have breaking news for the state of New Jersey, and I want to need your opinion on this because this is going to seriously screw with you. The state of New Jersey is making a serious push to convince the Philadelphia 76ers to come to New Jersey, and it would be built in Camden.
Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Not Camden.
I know, Camden, New Jersey. But Mark,
it doesn't.
How does this change world sports or hockey rather?
It doesn't, because it's not going to happen. Why would you move from Philadelphia, the 5th largest city in the nation, to go to Camden, New Jersey?
Okay, I say this as someone who watches the Eagles.
Facilities in New Jersey, that's something. But moving from Philly to an even smaller and more crime-ridden city, no, it's not going to happen.
Oh, they're doing a prayer right now. I don't really know who he is. Who is Graham? I know who Billy Graham is, but I think he died. Who's this guy?
Wait, who is Billy Graham?
He's like a religious, televangelist.
American evangelist.
All right, Ben, this seems to be... Now we'll move into your wheelhouse. What are your thoughts on the national prayer occurring right now?
Based and red-pilled.
I do wonder how much this has affected Trump, the shooting, and they say he's become more religious in a way.
Well, we're about to see. He's about to give one of the most important speeches in his career.
I'd argue probably the most important. Don't forget his 2016. We could go back and watch it while we're waiting. But the 2016 speech was one of his biggest RNC speech. Apparently, Billy Graham agreed with Nixon that Jews controlled American media and that Nixon should do something about it.
Anti-Semite moment.
Genuinely. He's also on tape referring to Jews as the synagogue of Satan. Oh, that's interesting.
What an interesting guy.
Very.
Oh, Eric Trump.
Yeah, the speech last night though was amazing. By I think by the World War II veteran. Okay, we're
Yeah,
gonna
the
tune
soldier.
back
I was
in.
gonna say.
We're gonna tune back in now for Eric Trump. Trump looks very proud.
Good evening, America.
Oh, and he's got all the grandkids.
8 years ago, my father sat our family down. He spoke of a nation in decline, of dreams slipping away, of a future endangered by failed leadership and broken promises. It was in that moment I knew my father had made a decision that would forever change our lives. We realized he had chosen to step into the arena, to fight for the soul of America. He decided to leave behind the comforts of an unbelievable business empire, to leave behind everything he had ever built, to answer the call to serve our nation. Unlike his predecessor, it was not a decision born out of necessity. Unlike the current president, it was not a decision that would enrich his family. Rather, it was a decision made out of love for this country and a deep concern for America's future. My father was clear it would not be easy, that there would be a huge price to pay, and that the attacks would be vicious. Looking back, that was an understatement. The made-up Russia hoax, the sham impeachments, the efforts to destroy an unbelievable company, a company that I run today, the efforts to cancel us, to silence him, to gag his free speech, and to drag him through every radical left courthouse in America, to take his life. Yet through it all, he's shown unwavering courage and determination, not just in public, but in every private conversation with me and our family. He stood tall, fueled not by personal ambition, but by a profound love for this country and a love for all of you, the American people. That man is my father. That man is the 45th president and soon to be 47th president of the United States. That man is Donald J. Trump. Each time I've stood on this stage, America has been at a dire crossroads. In 2016, many people began to doubt the promise of America. Our economy was struggling, jobs were scarce, our standing on the world stage was weak at best. Veterans were forgotten, our military was in shambles, our educational system was broken, ranked 30th in the world. He could no longer tolerate an inept administration that handed $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America, or witness the continued attacks on our Constitution and our religious liberty, or see the disrespect shown to our unbelievable law enforcement officers who are being disarmed, defunded, and persecuted each and every day. He could no longer stand to see words like Christmas stripped from public use or the Pledge of Allegiance removed from our schools. But my father saw potential where others saw despair. Donald Trump built the New York City skyline. He did so during a time when businesses were turning away from the city he loved. Crime was rampant. The streets were dirty. But he had the Midas touch, and he turned those streets and neighborhoods into gold. He faced every challenge with tremendous vision and grit. As he did during the 2016 election, he rolled up his sleeves. He remained unapologetic. He did not care to be politically correct. He restored hope. He restored a voice to millions of Americans who had been ignored. He restored the American dream. Under my father's leadership, the economy climbed to record heights. Jobs were created at an unthinkable pace. Unemployment reached historic lows across all demographics. Wage growth soared. He cut taxes for hardworking families and businesses. He slashed regulations. We saw the greatest 401k increase in American history. People bought their first homes in an environment that saw 2 to 3% interest rates. They started their families. My father made the United States energy independent with the lowest gas prices in decades. My father made the United States safe. Our borders were closed. There was peace in the Middle East. Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, the terrorists were dead. My father made the United States respected again, with the courage to walk into countries like North Korea, with the courage to impose tariffs on China, and with the courage to tear up trade deals that cost Americans their jobs. He brought manufacturing back to America. Small businesses flourished. He did what he promised. He put America first. We were winning. Donald Trump made America great again. But he also created a movement that threatened the special interests and the political elites. A movement that cast a bright light on the institutions weaponized against the American people. You see it in our schools. God bless the moms who fought back. You see it in your workplace. You see it on every news station, in every newspaper. You see it in the military. The most iconic military installations on planet Earth are stripped of their identity and renamed. Fort Bragg, Benning, Fort Hood. You see it in Hollywood. You see it in our two-tier judicial system. They don't even hide it anymore. My father has been censored. The former president ripped off Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook while terrorist organizations remain intact. My father has been persecuted, targeted by far-left Democrats funded by special interest groups and hand-picked judges. My father has been pulled off the ballots of states, radical justices attempting to defy the will of millions of Americans who adore who he is and what he stands for. My father even became the target of an assassin who almost killed America's single greatest hope for our future. The swamp is terrified of this incredible movement. They're terrified of it. They're terrified of you and the tens of millions of people watching us on TV right now. They've tried everything to keep him from you, everything, to destroy his legacy, to destroy his family. They have failed, and they will not win. I love my Florida delegation right here. Thank you. My father stands before you with the most votes of any Republican candidate in the history of our nation. He has defied the predictions of every political pundit. He fills stadiums across our country. He energizes Americans to the issues facing this nation and does so with unvarnished honesty. He is not a threat to democracy. He is a threat to those who despise our republic, many whom are bought and sold, bribed and coerced, people who have never signed the front of a check and who have been dependent on the government their entire adult lives. Today, as it was in 2016, America's at that crossroads again. Energy prices are soaring, interest rates are crippling, everything is unaffordable. The US dollar has been diminished. Inflation has made it impossible for Americans to live, to save for their future. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Our border is out of control. Millions are dead and displaced in Russia and Ukraine, a war that has no end and a war that we are funding. The Middle East has become a hornet's nest. Our greatest ally, Israel, totally under siege. Fentanyl is killing our youth and destroying families, while the current administration stands idly by, hoping their inaction will import illegal votes. Crime terrorizes our cities and our suburbs as far-left policies handcuff police. Male athletes, guys my height, 6'5", are swimming in women's sports. Destroying the dreams of young girls who have trained every minute of their lives. We no longer trust our elections. We no longer trust our judicial system, and we no longer believe that our government is working in our best interest. In spite of where we are today as a nation, I'd like to speak to every American. To the homeless veteran sleeping under a bridge as illegal immigrants are housed in the most expensive hotels in New York. I'm sorry. We know it's wrong, and we will fix it. To the single mother who can no longer afford her rent, afford groceries, and has been forced to work 3 jobs, I'm sorry. It does not have to be this way. To the parents who lost a son or daughter to fentanyl, including the incredible woman that spoke the other night, while an administration does absolutely nothing, I'm sorry. Your government can do so much better, and it will. To the children who are being brainwashed instead of learning the fundamentals in school, I'm sorry. There are teachers who care, and my father will empower them. To the law enforcement officers, our brave Border Patrol, Secret Service agents who work every single day to protect our communities, knowing damn well that the system will throw you under the bus, I'm sorry. We will stand behind you. To commuters often petrified to take a bus, take a train, or walk the streets in cities across our nation, I'm sorry. That man right there will fix this.
Eric Trump on that stage here in Milwaukee, making the case for his father's return to the White House, standing by for Donald Trump himself, addressing the nation moments from now. We're going to go over to the network. We hope you'll join us on ABC, 10 p.m. Eastern, moments away. Stay tuned.
So what are we thinking of the speech so far, before Trump comes on?
I liked Eric's speech there. That was good.
No, it's definitely good.
It was very personable.
Yeah. Man, I'm tired. Do Sorry, I'm just thinking.
He is still going for me, man. I am.
Wait, is it confirmed? Hold on. It might be. After a drone attack at Tel Aviv, Netanyahu may have canceled his trip to Congress. That's interesting. Oh, hey, Ben. University of Florida president Ben Sasse will resign July 31st. Is he popular in Florida? Just in general? So, over under 1 week, Biden drops out. Before or after 1 week from today?
Under.
Ooh, ballsy. Ben?
Trump telling ABC News he threw out his original speech to write a new one after what happened to him on Saturday, saying he wants to focus tonight on unity. Again, just moments away from
We're awaiting Donald Trump.
Live coverage begins right now.
This is an ABC News special. After one shocking and extraordinary week, tonight is his night. As former President Trump takes center stage, accepts his party's nomination, and makes his case why America should send him back to the Oval Office. What will he say tonight?
How many pictures did he take?
Republican National Convention, live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now reporting, David Muir.
You're looking at live pictures inside the convention hall. A raucous crowd here in Milwaukee on night 4, the final night of the Republican National Convention. You can see the ABC News broadcast booth right there. Good evening, everyone, from the Republican National Convention here in Milwaukee. It is great to have you with us again tonight, night 4 of the convention, and history unfolding tonight. Donald Trump just moments away now from accepting the presidential nomination for a third time. And of course, it comes 5 days after the attempted assassination at a Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The former president entering the convention hall earlier tonight to the cheers of the crowd, shaking hands, waving, that bandage still visible on his right ear where he was wounded in Saturday's shooting. We have talked about the effect he says that moment had on him. Trump telling ABC News he threw out the speech to write a new one for tonight after what happened to him in Pennsylvania. He says he will focus tonight on unity. ABC News has learned Trump is not expected to mention President Biden.
I think Trump is coming on stage
by name in his speech tonight. And as for President Biden, he remains off the campaign trail, isolating at his home in Rehoboth, Delaware, while being treated for COVID. The president facing growing pressure from top Democrats to step aside. Jonathan Carr reporting a little earlier on World News Tonight that the president is now open to discussions over whether he should stay in the race. Sources say former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is among those who have now delivered their concerns directly to the president. They are concerned President Biden would not beat Trump in November, given the polling now in the key battleground states. So again tonight, we have a lot to get to. Moments away from the former president, Donald Trump, taking the stage. Right now, his son Eric Trump just over our shoulders. Let's take a look down at the stage and listen in.
Your optimism is contagious. Your backbone is unbreakable. Your conviction to fight for what is right and against all that is wrong is truly next level. The whole world saw your strength as you stood up. You wiped the blood off your face, and you put your fist in the air in a moment that will be remembered as one of the most courageous acts in the history of American politics. You shouted, "Fight I'm honored to be your son. I'm honored to speak to our great nation tonight. You are a true leader. You epitomize strength. Our country loves you. Our country appreciates you. Our country misses you. And on November 5th, our country will re-elect you as the 47th President of the United States of America. Good night, Milwaukee. God bless you all.
All right, Trump's coming up now.
No, we got Dana White.
Eric Trump speaking on behalf of his father.
Dana White is here.
A thumbs up from J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's running mate. For much of that speech, Carolina
Who
Dorothy
Dana
Trump was
White
sitting
was
on her
on the phone with?
grandfather's lap.
Okay, here he
Eric
comes.
and Lara Trump's daughter. Grandson Eric
Biggest
Luke
speech of the
on
night.
his mother's lap. There you see
Possibly
now
of
they
the
traded
year.
places. You can see Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner here. We had mentioned in the last hour that and Tiffany Trump there as well. Donald Trump now coming down the stairs, the patch on his ear after Saturday's rally in
No one knows what's going to
Pennsylvania.
be
It took
said right
such a
now.
horrific turn
This is going to be
in front
insane.
of the whole country. Donald Trump has been here every single night of the convention, sitting just above the crowd there on the floor, able to watch all of these speeches. Earlier in the week, watching his rivals come, his one-time rivals, to then embrace him. Watching his running mate, J.D. Vance, introduce himself to the nation last night. And this evening, all eyes will be on Donald Trump as he reintroduces himself. And John Carl, he told you earlier this week, with a new speech tonight that he says will be more reflective of the unity he believes is needed in this moment, particularly what he survived on Saturday.
Former President Trump told me that he had ripped up the first draft that he had written before what
Is the
happened
band
in
playing for you
Butler,
guys right now?
Pennsylvania, that was going to be a humdinger that was
Okay,
going
I'm
to
just making sure I'm not
right at
behind.
We're waiting
Joe
for Trump to
Biden
walk
and
on
his
stage.
political enemies. He was going
I
to
think it's
emphasize
Dana
more
White
of the
goes
energy.
on
Although I
first.
have to say, David, listening to Eric Trump's speech sounded like it might have been that speech that Donald Trump had written in the first draft. It was a much harder edge speech. He went after former president's enemies. He talked a little bit about retribution and invoked the idea that the election had been stolen in 2020, which virtually nobody at this convention has done.
And John Carl, he said we no longer have trust in our elections, no longer have trust in our judicial system.
Yeah, and he went after and said it was they paraded my father through a series of left-wing courtrooms. Really went after portraying his father as, first of all, the greatest hope for the future of America, but a victim of his political enemies who have tried to do everything they can to stop him, including, he said, the assassin that tried to kill him in Butler, Pennsylvania.
He said our retribution will be our success. And Lindsay Davis, you talked to Eric Trump earlier today at the convention hall. Did he give you a hint of what was coming tonight?
You know, Eric Trump actually said, with regard to his own speech, that he, like his father, had changed it. And that he said that he had toned it down for himself. And that it was going to be about love and civility and unification. And I don't think that he heard
Nervous?
exactly that. It was really
Yeah,
on
this is
platform,
gonna. This
light
could
on
be a
policy.
really,
We heard a
really
lot about
good
This could be
moment for
history.
him.
Donald Trump
Like, we might be
stands for,
watching
what
a
he
historic
represents, what
moment
he's
right
done
now.
in the past, but I'm not so sure from a number
Think
of
about how
speakers,
many
this week that
like
we've heard
independents
what
and
they plan on
moderates are
doing in the
watching right
future
now.
and how they plan on doing it. One thing that I think has been kind of a theme throughout
Even
this week
Democrats.
is trying to endear America.
I mean, this is
to
really,
Donald
really
Trump,
big.
The man as a grandfather. You know, you had Carolina Trump, Eric's
Joe Biden
youngest
walked out.
child, who's just four, who
You should
never
just
knew
say,
him
"It is Jover,
as a
and now I
president
am
of the United
Biden,"
States.
and leave.
She simply knows him as she sat on his lap.
Honestly, I'd write in his name if he did
And
that.
It seems like that's the kind of message that they've been trying to bring as far as their unification. I don't think that
No.
we saw that in the words. As far as his father's
Unfortunately,
speech, he
there's
said,
no
that it's
timeline in
gonna
which
be
I vote for
something
Joe
that's really
Biden.
unifying and beautiful. I've seen parts of it, and I
Oh,
can't wait.
Just gonna bring Dana White out now.
His own father's speech coming up just a short time from now. We're also awaiting
Unless
the
they're
arrival
not.
of former First Lady Melania Trump, who of course has kept a very low profile since leaving the White House. There you see the family sitting. They had been sitting with their father. He's now left his seat to prepare for his speech, and we are expecting that at any moment now
yo,
we can see
Melania.
the former First Lady Melania Trump Martha Raddatz, we didn't see Melania Trump in the courtroom like some members of the family during the court proceedings.
Oh, wait.
We will see
Here
her
she comes.
Here in the hall tonight. In fact, let's take a look and we'll get your thoughts
Oh,
here on the
here's-
backside. Here's
All right, I'm
First
going
Lady
silent.
Melania Trump
Yep.
entering the
Melania.
hall here in Milwaukee. We're looking at the stage. We don't know entirely where to look, Martha.
Yeah, both of us are scanning the crowd down there to see Melania Trump. We all saw her statement after the assassination attempt and how truly emotional that day was for her. She said in that moment she knew that if it had turned out differently, her life, her son Barron's life, would change dramatically. But this event this week really has been, there she is now, there she's coming forward in that red dress. She is beloved by the Republicans. The people on the floor that I've talked to were waiting for this moment to see Melania Trump.
And John Santucci, who has covered the Trump family for many years for us, Melania Trump, it's been her choice to stay away from the public eye until this moment.
Yeah, David, this moment is the first time any American has seen Melania Trump in a campaign setting so far this cycle. Recall, David, she was a presence quite often at Donald Trump's side in his first two runs for the White House. But to see her there tonight, David, you know, it's a question of how involved Melania Trump will be in a second Donald Trump term. Recall, she had a policy of Be Best, where she championed children and education. It'll be curious what a Melania Trump, a second First Lady Melania Trump, would do should her husband be successful in November, David.
Exchanging a couple of words there with J.D. Vance, the running mate, giving a wave to the crowd. You can hear the crowd behind us here in the booth. A very warm welcome for Melania Trump, who they have not seen for a while. Usha Vance, J.D. Vance, looking at the former First Lady as she walked past them. I'm not sure they've had much interaction until this moment. We'll learn later on, but
Yeah.
this is the team.
Not much. I have to say the statement that Melania Trump put out on Sunday after the assassination attempt was really a remarkable statement. And the line that struck me was at the very end.
He became a folk hero. Celebrities and sports stars wanted to be seen with him. Politicians sought his approval. And New Yorkers just loved him. And he loved them back. And he gave back. Just one example. Saving the Woolman skating rink.
The Woolman skating rink in Central Park is open again. The city spent nearly 6 years and $12 million trying to fix it. And then to the rescue, developer Donald Trump. As Tracy Egan tells us now, he accomplished in 3.5 months what the city couldn't do in 6 years.
Donald, you performed a great public service.
There was no denying that Donald Trump was the toast of the town. But he was also something even more important, a patriotic American. And like many others, he was becoming increasingly troubled by the direction of our country.
Because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined, I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off.
But who would ever run for president and leave such a glamorous life? Appearances in movies, best-selling books, a widely popular TV show. But for Donald J. Trump, the calling to save his country was even stronger. The mission, more important. The number of Americans being left behind, too large. And so, in Donald Trump fashion, he announced he was running for president, in it to win. And he did.
From his first day in office, The Washington politicians learned something about President Trump. He's not afraid to fight for what he believes in. They call that having the courage of your convictions. First up, the Trump tax cuts, largest in America's history, and it led to higher take-home pay for working families. Unfortunately, today, taxes are up and incomes down. The politicians just never learn. Next for President Trump, secure our border. Check. Miles and miles of wall built. ISIS and other terrorists deterred. But now, we have the Barney Fife of border security, leading to 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl coming in. Brutal migrant crime spreading across America. And ISIS, now here. President Trump promised he'd keep America out of endless wars. Welcome words to the families of our young men and women who serve. And another promise kept. He started by strengthening our military, then traveled the world, meeting with our allies, and even with our main adversaries. Just so they understood that America's strength and resolve was back. Because that's what a strong commander-in-chief does. And it led to a stable world at peace and our troops safe. Today, a different story. Our enemies smelled weakness, then set the world on fire. Putin saw it, then invaded Ukraine. Hamas saw it, then started a war in the Middle East. There's one more thing we've learned about President Trump. He believes so strongly in America, so optimistic for our possibilities, and so committed to fighting to once again make our country great, that there is nothing that is going to stop him.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kid Rock.
Okay, what? Kid Rock?
That was incredible.
Yeah, that was a great film. That was like 1950s, like propaganda, you know, like our troops, you know, great speech. The president has done this thing today.
Well, here he comes.
Everybody, get a fist up in the air. Now follow me. Say fight, fight. I need everybody to stand up. I need everybody to put a fist up in the air. Everybody, get a fist up in the air. Now follow me. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight.
The Bush era is over.
Definitely. I didn't know we were going to be getting a live performance of Kid Rock tonight.
This is fire.
We want Trump. We want Trump.
They call me cowboy, I'm the singer of black. Throw a fist in the air, let me see where you at. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight.
They wrote a song about Trump in a week. That's incredible.
I like ACDC. see hands, easy time. Bocephus beasties and the kings of rock. Skinner, Seeger, Lipcorn, Stones. David Attico and No-Show Jones. Yeah, pass that bottle around.
Dude, like all the older people are just like, bro, what am I doing? I would be one of them, to be fair.
The base levels are off the charts.
True.
Cowboy, I'm a singer with a black, throw a fist in the air, let me see where you're at. Say fight, fight, say fight, fight, say fight, fight. I say Trump, Trump. I'm an American badass. Watch me kick. You can roll with right, or you can. I'm the ultimate. I'm like Amazing Grace. I'm on rock and roll. Let me rock this place. All super fly. Living double wide. Psychon fly. The big God to ride. Bill Sack to share. Bring it flash to flare. Back a long hair swinging middle finger in the air. Skin boots 65 Chevelle. See me ride and sin and hit a rebel. Yeah. I won't live to tell. So if you do, rock for freedom and rock for truth. Who knew I'd blow like Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, Arizona. Smell the aroma and check my hits. I know it stinks in here, cause Trump's the They call me cowboy, I'm a singer with black. Throw a fist in the air, let me see where you're at. Say Trump, Trump. Say Trump, Trump. Say Trump, Trump. Say Trump, Trump. I need to hear you louder than that. One more time. I'm a cowboy, badass and black. You say Trump, Trump. From side to side, from front to back. Come on, Trump, Trump. I put Detroit City back on the map. We say Trump, Trump. Kid Rock's in the house. This is where I'm at. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the most patriotic American badass on earth. President Donald J. Trump.
Okay, here we go.
Another American badass.
Or not.
Brother, Dana White.
It's Dana White.
Dude, just bring Trump out. I have to get up early tomorrow. Tired.
Yeah, the mic drop.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dana White. I am the CEO and president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So 2 weeks ago, I got a call from President Trump asking me if I'd be willing to speak tonight. As usual, there was no pressure, no demands. He asked me as a friend, and of course I said yes. Then, after I accepted his offer, he sent me a text message, and I just want to read to you a little piece of what President Trump wrote to me. Dana, I'm so honored that you will be doing the introduction at the National Republican Convention. Think of it as the biggest fight you ever had, a fight for our country and even the world. I only wish you didn't have to interrupt your family trip, but I hope they understand they love you and they know how important this is. Now think about this. This man's running for president of the United States. He's fighting for the future of this country, and he's concerned about interrupting my family trip. That's the President Trump that I know. A man who truly cares about people. The mainstream media likes to push the narrative that he doesn't care about anyone but himself. I absolutely know that's not the truth because I've been friends with this guy for 25 years. And for the people who know me, they'll know this is true. I just want to make something very clear. Nobody in the Trump campaign has ever told me what to say. Nobody tells me what to say, and I'm nobody's puppet. And I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. And I know President Trump. I know President Trump is a fighter. I've been saying this since 2015. Now look at what's happened over the last 10 years. We have all seen it with our own eyes.
He says 10 years again. I'm
in
going
the
to
tough guy business.
Stream.
And this man is the toughest, most resilient human being that I've ever met in my life. The higher the stakes, the harder he fights, and this guy never, ever gives up. So what's at stake here? The answer is in President Trump's text, and I quote, "A fight for our country." I know why he's running for president again. Why else would he put himself through everything he's dealt with just to get back here? We all know he doesn't need this. This guy's got a great life. He has a beautiful family, and he has achieved everything that you could possibly achieve in life. I know President Trump is literally putting his life on the line for something bigger than himself, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country. And I know he wants what's best for the American people, all American people. I know he's running for president to save our American dream. I'm living the American dream, and I know the American dream is very real. Whether you were born in this country or came here from someplace else, this is the last real land of opportunity. President Reagan once said, "Government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives." And if you're buried in government red tape, how will you ever start your own business? If you're struggling to pay your bills, how can you ever afford to start a family? And if you don't feel safe in your own town, why would you ever buy a house? I know that President Trump is fighting to save the American dream, and that's what's at stake in this election. We are choosing who we want to lead us in this fight. I know President Trump is a proven leader, a fearless leader, and this country was in a much better place when he was in the Oval Office. In my mind, the choice is clear. But this election, we all get to choose. I know I'm going to choose strength and security. I know I'm going to choose opportunity and prosperity. I know I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass. And I'm not telling you what choice to make, and I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. I know America needs a strong leader, and the world needs a strong America. I know Donald J. Trump is the best choice for President of the United States. My fellow Americans, it is my honor to introduce the 45th and soon-to-be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
So you say cousin?
my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today. 'Cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it. God bless the USA. Yeah. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit to Houston, and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me.
So I know that this is an incredibly strong start, both with the meaning of the song and by having the Corey, the firefighter who passed who was murdered, really. Very complimentary. And the symbolism of Biden's speech in front of the White House being reflected. So fade back out to the president.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Wow. And thank you, Dana. Thank you, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob. And thank you, Lee, right from the beginning. Thank you very much. What a talent. What a beautiful, beautiful song. Thank you. Friends, delegates, and fellow citizens, I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have an incredible victory, and we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Together, we will launch a new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We rise together or we fall apart. I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America. So tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we will do it right. We're going to do it right. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened, and you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Music was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily because I was discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership. The numbers were absolutely amazing. In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage. These are great people at great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that. The amazing thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark. And I would not be here tonight. We would not be together. The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets that were being fired, crowds run for the exits or stampede, but not in this case. It's very unusual. This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper. And then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front. Nobody ran, and by not stampeding, many lives were saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood. And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed more than any other part of the body. For whatever reason, the doctors told me that. I said, why is there so much blood? He said, it's the ears. They bleed more. So we learned something, but they just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. And you can see that love written all over their faces. Incredible people. They're incredible people. Bullets were flying over us, yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet used, took the assassin's life, took him out. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here. Yeah. Thank you. But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God. In watching the reports over the last few days, many people say it was a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose, surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead, and there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it, and I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." Thank you. Once my clenched fist went up, and it was high into the air. You've all seen that. The crowd realized I was okay and roared with pride for our country like no crowd I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey, comparator, unbelievable person, everybody tells me. Unbelievable. And seriously wounded, 2 other great warriors, spoke to them today, David Dutch and James Copenhaver, 2 great people. I also spoke to all 3 families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and 2 precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was. I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it. But we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3 million for the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine just called up. He sent me a check right here. I just got it. $1 million from Dan Newland. Thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey. And the other 2, by the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. They're warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours, and this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of human achievement and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever. I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. Thank you very much. Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend, we will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never. And everything I have to give with all of the energy and fight in my heart and soul, I pledge to our nation tonight. Thank you very much. I pledge that to our nation. We're going to turn our nation around, and we're going to do it very quickly. Thank you. This election should be about the issues facing our country and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we must not criminalize dissent or demonize political disagreement, which is what's been happening in our country lately at a level that nobody has ever seen before. In that spirit, the Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy. Especially since that is not true. In fact, I am the one saving democracy for the people of our country. And very big news, as you probably just read, on Monday a major ruling was handed down from a highly respected federal judge in Florida, Eileen Cannon, finding that the prosecutor and the fake documents case against me were totally unconstitutional, and the entire case was thrown out of court. With all of that publicity, thrown out of court. If Democrats want to unify our country, they should drop these partisan witch hunts, which I have been going through for approximately 8 years. And they should do that without delay and allow an election to proceed that is worthy of our people. We're going to win it anyway, but worthy of our people. On this journey, I am deeply honored to be joined by my amazing wife, Melania. And Melania, thank you very much. You also did something really beautiful, a letter to America calling for national unity, and it really took the Republican Party by surprise. I will tell you, it was beautiful. In fact, some very serious people said that we should take that letter and put it as part of the Republican platform. That would be an honor, wouldn't it? Right, Mr. Congressman? But it captivated so many, so I also want to thank my entire family for being here. Don, Kimberly, Ivanka and Jared, Eric and Lara, Tiffany and Michael, Barron. We love our Barron. And of course, my 10 wonderful grandchildren. You saw a few of them up there on my lap before. And how good was Dana? Was Dana good? I mean, was he good? He was on probably the only vacation he's had in about, maybe ever, because he works, but about 10 years with his wife, very far away. I won't tell you where, but very, very far away, beautiful place. And my people called, and he said, yeah, I won't be able to do it. This is many, many years. I promised my wife I can't do it. And they came in, they said, Dana won't be able to do it because he was my first, second, and third choice. I said, well, that's too bad, but I understand he's away, and it's good. It's good for him. And that was it. About 30 minutes later, she came back in, sir, Dana just called. He's going to do it. And his wife, she said, you can't turn him down. You just can't do it. You have to go. That's a good wife. So he got on a plane. He got here a little while ago. Now he's going to get on the plane in a little while, and he's going to go back home to his wife. But they're great, and I just want to thank her and him and their whole family because that's not easy. And Kid Rock, same thing. Called, he said, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part, because, Kid does his great song, big, big monster song. I had no idea. He became a friend of mine over the last 10 years. And he's amazing. Everyone loves him. I didn't even know how big he was. He has rallies, 35,000, 40,000 people he gets every time he goes out. I think he's making so much money he doesn't know what the hell to do with it. You want to know? And then we have my other friend, and I've known him so long, and we took that song, and it was a big success, but we made that. I saw a chart of great songs to America. That was number 1 on the chart recently, number 1. So that's Lee Greenwood, a very special, beautiful person. He's a beautiful man. But they all wanted to be here. They called. And how about the Hulkster? How good was he? Is he up? Where is he? Boy, oh boy. They may call that entertainment. I know about entertainment, but when he used to lift a 350-pound man over his shoulders and then bench press him 2 rows into the audience, I say maybe entertainment, but he is one strong son of a gun. I will tell you, I watched it many times. There aren't a lot of entertainers that can do that, right? You were fantastic. Thank you very much. Followed by Eric. What was that all about? Boy, that was good. I didn't want to really come up here. But he was so great, and he's such a good young man. He went through a lot of trouble, and Don last night was incredible. He went through so much trouble. They got subpoenaed more than any people probably in the history of the United States. Every week they get another subpoena from the Democrats, crazy Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing, just boom, boom, boom. They've got to stop that because they're destroying our country. We have to work on making America great again, not on beating people. And we won. We beat them in all. We beat them on the impeachments. We beat them on indictments. We beat them. But the time that you have to spend, if they would devote that genius to helping our country, we'd have a much stronger and better country. And Jason, the biggest star in country music. Jason, thank you for being here. Jason, thank you very much. Jason Aldean, he's good. I like his wife even better, by the way. She's here. Thank you, Jason. But I'm thrilled to have a new friend and partner fighting by my side. The next Vice President of the United States, the current Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, and his incredible wife, Usha. He's going to be a great vice president. He's going to be great. He'll be with this country and with this movement, greatest movement in the history of our country, Make America Great Again. When they criticize it, they say, we're going to try and stop MAGA. I said, MAGA is Make America Great Again. What are you going to stop? There's nothing to stop. Then they say, oh, that's right. It's very tough to fight it. And all of the people that did try and fight it have failed. But he's going to be with us for a long time, and it was an honor to select him. Great, great student at Yale. His wife was a great student at Yale. They met at Yale. These are two smart people. So, J.D., you're going to be doing this for a long time. Enjoy the ride. And a very special thank you to the extraordinary people of Milwaukee and the great state of... Oh, there they are. There they are. You are so easy to spot. And Green Bay's going to have a good team this year, right? They're going to have a good team. They're going to have a good team. Most of the audience doesn't like it, but it's true. You're going to have a very good team this year. And by the way, Wisconsin, we are spending over $250 million here creating jobs and other economic development all over the place. So I hope you will remember this in November and give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote. I'll be honest about that. And I promise we will make Wisconsin great again. We're going to make it. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here tonight to lay out a vision for the whole nation. To every citizen, whether you're a young or old man or woman, Democrat, Republican, or independent, black or white, Asian or Hispanic, I extend to you a hand of loyalty and of friendship. Together we will lead America to new heights of greatness like the world has never seen before. We were right there in the first term. We got hit with COVID. We did a great job. Nobody knew what it was, but nobody's ever seen an economy pre-COVID. And then we handed over a stock market that was substantially higher than just prior to COVID. Coming in, did a great job. Never got credit for that. We got credit for the war and defeating ISIS and so many things. The great economy, the biggest tax cuts ever, the biggest regulation cuts ever, the creation of Space Force, the rebuilding of our military. We did so much. We did so much. Right to try. Right to try is a big deal. We got right to try. They were trying to get that for 52 years. Somebody's terminally ill, and hopefully there's nobody in this audience, but it does happen a lot. They're terminally ill and they can't use our new space-age drugs and other things that we are way ahead. We have the greatest doctors in the world, the greatest laboratories in the world, and you can't do it. They've been trying to get that approved for 52 years. Wasn't that easy? The insurance companies didn't want to do it. They didn't want the risk. The labs didn't want to do it because if it didn't work, people are pretty far down the line toward death. They didn't want to do it. The doctors didn't want to have it on their records, so I got everybody into an office. 52 years they tried. Sounds simple, but it's not. And I got them to agree that somebody that needs it will, instead of going to Asia or Europe or someplace, or if you have no money, going home and dying, just die. We got them to sign an agreement, agree to it, where they're not going to sue anybody. They're going to get all of this stuff. They're going to get it really fast. And what's happened is we're saving thousands and thousands of lives. It's incredible. Right to try. It's a great feeling. Under our leadership, the United States will be respected again. No nation will question our power. No enemy will doubt our might. Our borders will be totally secure. Our economy will soar. We will return law and order to our streets, patriotism to our schools, and importantly, we will restore peace, stability, and harmony all throughout the world. But to achieve this future, we must first rescue our nation from failed and even incompetent leadership. We have totally incompetent leadership. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. Under the current administration, we are indeed a nation in decline. We have an inflation crisis that is making life unaffordable, ravaging the incomes of working and low-income families, and crushing, just simply crushing our people like never before. They've never seen anything like it. We also have an illegal immigration crisis, and it's taking place right now as we sit here in this beautiful arena. It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction to communities all across our land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Then there's an international crisis, the likes of which the world has seldom been part of. Nobody can believe what's happening. War is now raging in Europe and the Middle East. A growing specter of conflict hangs over Taiwan, Korea, the Philippines, and all of Asia. And our planet is teetering on the edge of World War III. And this will be a war like no other war because of weaponry. The weapons are no longer army tanks going back and forth shooting at each other. These weapons are obliteration. It's time for a change. This administration can't come close to solving the problems. We're dealing with very tough, very fierce people. They're fierce people. And we don't have fierce people. We have people that are a lot less than fierce, except when it comes to cheating on elections and a couple of other things. Then they're fierce. Then they're fierce. So tonight, I make this pledge to the great people of America. I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill. Can you believe what they're doing? But by doing that, we will lead a large-scale decline in prices. Prices will start to come down. Energy raised it. They took our energy policies and destroyed them. Then they immediately went back to them, but by that time, so much was lost. But we will do it at levels that nobody's ever seen before, and we'll end lots of different things. We'll start paying off debt and start lowering taxes even further. We gave you the largest tax cut. We'll do it more. You know, people don't realize I brought taxes way down, way down, and yet we took in more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because it was incentive. Everybody was coming to the country. They were bringing back billions and billions of dollars into our country. The companies made it impossible to bring it back. The tax rate was too high, and the legal complications were far too great. I changed both of them, and hundreds of billions of dollars by Apple and so many other companies were brought back into our nation, and we had an economy the likes of which no nation had ever seen. China, we were beating them at levels that were incredible. And they know it. They know it. We'll do it again, but we'll do it even better. I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built. On the wall, we were dealing with a very difficult Congress. And I said, oh, that's okay. We won't go to Congress. I call it an invasion. We gave our military almost $800 billion. I said, I'm going to take a little of that money because this is an invasion. And we built, most of the wall is already built. And we built it through using the funds because what's better than that? We have to stop the invasion into our country that's killing hundreds of thousands of people a year. We're not going to let that happen. I will end every single international crisis that the current administration has created, including the horrible war with Russia and Ukraine, which would have never happened if I was president, and the war caused by the attack on Israel, which would have never happened if I was president. Iran was broke. Iran had no money. Now Iran has $250 billion. They made it all over the last 2.5 years. They were broke. I watched the other day on a show called Deface the Nation. Has anyone seen it? And they had a congressman who was a Democrat say, well, whether you like him or not, Iran was broke dealing with Trump. I told China and other countries, if you buy from Iran, we will not let you do any business in this country, and we will put tariffs on every product you do send in of 100% or more. And they said to me, well, I think that's about it. They weren't going to buy any oil. And they were ready to make a deal. Iran was going to make a deal with us. And then we had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen again. The election result, we're never going to let that happen again. They used COVID to cheat. We're never going to let it happen again. And they took off all the sanctions, and they did everything possible for Iran. And now Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon, which would have never happened. This is a shame what this administration, the damage that this administration has done. And I say it often, if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. Only going to use the term once. Biden. I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time. The damage that he's done to this country is unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Together we will restore vision, strength, competence, and we're going to have a thing called common sense making most of our decisions, actually. It's all common sense. Just a few short years ago, under my presidency, we had the most secure border and best economy in the history of our country, in the history of the world. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had never done anything like it. We were beating every country, including China, by leaps and bounds. Nobody had seen anything like it. We had no inflation. Soaring incomes were going. Nobody can believe it. You can't believe what happened 4 years ago is happening now in reverse. And the world was at peace. Inflation has been a killer for our country. No matter what you make it, it doesn't matter because inflation is eating you alive. People that were putting away money, they were making great wages, the highest they've ever made, but they were putting away a lot of money. Now they are just being destroyed. They're not putting away anything. They're barely living. They're going into savings accounts. They're taking out their money to live because of inflation. Inflation, remember, it's called a country buster. You can go back to Germany from 100 years ago. You can go back to any country that suffered great inflation. We've suffered the worst inflation we've ever had. But go back and see what's happened to those countries. We've had the worst inflation we've ever had under this person. But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a tremendous failure. Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force, and their jobs are taken. And by the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens. And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it. Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. Thank you very much. Inflation has wiped out the life savings of our citizens and forced the middle class into a state of depression and despair. That's what it is. It's despair and depression. We cannot and will not let this continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. We're going to be a great nation again. Thank you. With proper leadership, every disaster we are now enduring will be fixed, and it will be fixed very, very quickly. So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future, because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore. With great humility, I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Be excited. Be excited. And by the way, the news reports, look at all of those big networks. Look at them. They're all here. But every one of them has said this could be the most organized, best run, and most enthusiastic convention of either party that they have ever seen. Every single one. And it's true. It's true. And there's love in the room. There's great love in the room. So I better finish strong. Otherwise, we'll blow it. And we can't let that happen. Now, this was great. All of the great people that spoke, and everybody hit a home run. I mean, there's not one that I can think of where I said, oh, gee, that wasn't great. Every single person. I refuse to be the only one. Don't do that to me. They're already getting ready. See, I gave them an idea. Now, this was a great convention. This was, I think we're actually going to go home and miss it. You know, usually with a first of all, look at these crowds. You'd never have this at a convention. Look at these crowds. Love. It's about love. This week, the entire Republican Party has formally adopted an agenda for America's renewal, and you saw that agenda, and it's very short compared to the long, boring, meaningless agendas of the past, including the Democrats. They write these things that are hundreds of pages long, and they never read them after they're done. In their case, fortunately, they don't read them because they're pretty bad. It's a series of bold promises that we will swiftly implement when you give us a Republican House. And Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We have our great Speaker of the House with us tonight. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Thank you. A Republican Senate. We have many senators here. And send me back to our beautiful White House just a few short months from now. We're talking about just months. It can't come fast enough. We have to get it done. First, we must get economic relief to our citizens. Starting on day one, we will drive down prices and make America affordable again. We have to make it affordable. It's not affordable. People can't live like this. Under this administration, our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what they are because you can't get the money anyway. You can't buy houses. Young people can't get any financing to buy a house. The total household costs have increased an average of $28,000 per family under this administration. Republicans have a plan to bring down prices and bring them down very, very rapidly. By slashing energy costs, we will in turn reduce the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and all household goods. So much starts with energy. And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country by far. We are a nation that has the opportunity to make an absolute fortune with its energy. We have it, and China doesn't. Under the Trump administration, just 3.5 years ago, we were energy independent. But soon, we will actually be better than that. We will be energy dominant and supply not only ourselves, but we will supply the rest of the world with numbers that nobody has ever seen, and we will reduce our debt. $36 trillion. We will start reducing that, and we will also reduce your taxes still further. Next, and by the way, they want to raise your taxes 4 times. Think of it. And all my life, I grew up watching politicians. I always loved politics. I guess I was on the other side. I'd watch and they were always talking about, we will give you a tax cut. We will give you a tax cut. My whole life, I was watching, I will give you a tax cut. Right, Mr. Congressman? That's all they talked about. This is the only administration that said, we're going to raise your taxes by 4 times what you're paying now, and people are supposed to vote for them? I've never heard it. You're paying too much. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. We gave you the biggest one, as I said. We're going to give you more, and it's going to lead to tremendous growth. We want growth in our country. That's what's going to pay off our debt. And next, we will end the ridiculous and actually incredible waste of taxpayer dollars that is fueling the inflation crisis. They spent trillions of dollars on things having to do with the Green New Scam. It's a scam. And that's caused tremendous inflationary pressures in addition to the cost of energy. And all of the trillions of dollars that are sitting there not yet spent, we will redirect that money for important projects like roads, bridges, dams, and we will not allow it to be spent on meaningless Green New Scam ideas. And I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day 1. Thereby saving the U.S. auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car. And right now, as we speak, large factories just started are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built by China to make cars and to sell them into our country. No tax, no anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately. And every single auto worker, union and non-union, should be voting for Donald Trump, because we're going to bring back car manufacturing, and we're going to bring it back fast. They're building some of the largest auto plants anywhere in the world. Think of it, in the world. We're going to bring it back. We're going to make them. We don't mind that happening, but those plants are going to be built in the United States, and our people are going to man those plants. And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States. We have long been taken advantage of by other countries. And think of it, oftentimes these other countries are considered so-called allies. They've taken advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything and wipe out our businesses, wipe out our people. I stopped it for 4 years. I stopped it. And we're really ready to make changes like nobody had seen before. And remember, USMCA, I got rid of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with USMCA, which is, they say, the best trade deal ever made. Actually, probably the best trade deal was the deal I made with China, where they buy $50 billion worth of our product. They were buying nothing. They buy $50 billion worth. They had to. But I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even mention it, frankly, because of what happened with the China virus. We will not let countries come in, take our jobs, and plunder our nation. They come and do that. They plunder our nation. The way they will sell their product in America is to build it in America. Very simple. Build it in America and only in America. And this very simple formula, and Congress has to go along with us, and they will. This very simple formula will create massive numbers of jobs. We will take over the auto industry again, and many, hundreds of thousands of jobs. We lost so many jobs over the years. If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them. At the center of our plan for economic relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular in this building and all those hotels that I saw that are so nice. I'm staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. I got that by having dinner recently in Nevada, where we're leading by about 14 points. Hello. I'll see you there very soon, everybody. And we're having dinner at a beautiful restaurant in the Trump building on the Strip, and it's a great building, and the waitress comes over. How's everything going? A really nice person. How's everything? Oh, sir, it's so tough. The government's after me all the time on tips, tips, tips. I said, well, they give you cash. Would they be able to find them? She said, actually, and I didn't know this, she said, very little cash is given. It's all put right on the check. And they come in and they take so much of our money, it's just ridiculous, and they don't believe anything we say. And they've just hired, as you know, 88,000 agents to go after them even more. And I said, this shows the level of my, most people go out, they hire consultants, they pay them millions of dollars. But I said to her, let me just ask you a question. Would you be happy if you had no tax on tips? She said, what a great idea. I got my information from a very smart waitress. That's better than spending millions of dollars. And everybody loves it. Waitresses and caddies and drivers and everybody's a large group of people that are being really hurt badly. They make money, let them keep their money. I'm going to protect Social Security and Medicare. Democrats are going to destroy Social Security and Medicare because all of these people, by the millions they're coming in, they're going to be on Social Security and Medicare and other things, and you're not able to afford it. They are destroying your Social Security and your Medicare. Under my plan, incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper like never, ever before, and we're going to do it very rapidly. But no hope or dream we have for America can succeed unless we stop the illegal immigrant invasion, the worst that's ever been seen anywhere in the world. There's never been an invasion like this anywhere. Third world countries would fight with sticks and stones not to let this happen. The invasion at our southern border, we will stop it, and we will stop it quickly. You heard Tom Homan yesterday. Tom Homan, put him in charge and just sit back and watch. Brandon Judd of Border Patrol, he's incredible. These guys, they really, their job is a lot easier if they don't have to do anything, but they want to. They're patriots. Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, ICE. ICE goes out. You have to see what ICE does with MS-13. You have these are probably the worst gang, and ICE goes in there. And I know a lot of people in these rows here, and they're very tough people, but they don't want to do this job. They'll go into a pack of MS-13 killers. They're the worst, probably the worst gangs in the world. We have thousands of them. I moved thousands and thousands out in my 4 years. We moved them out, and it was a pleasure. But ICE would go right into a pack of these killers, and you see fists flying, you see everything flying, and then they take them. They put them in a paddy wagon. They take them back, and they get them out of our country. And the other countries weren't accepting them back, and I called up, and I said, tell them that we're not giving them economic aid anymore. And the next day, I got calls from all of these countries that were terminated. Billions of dollars we spend on economic aid to countries that does us, frankly, no good. And the next day I was called by everybody. I couldn't take all the calls. Sir, what's the problem? I said, you won't take your killers back that you sent in caravans into America. You won't take them back. Well, sir, if you'd like us to, we would give very serious consideration to doing that. And within 24 hours, they were being taken back. For years and years, when I first came in, they said President Obama tried to get him to go back, and they wouldn't accept him. They'd put planes on the runway so you couldn't leave the plane. They'd close the road so you couldn't take the buses. They'd all have to turn back. As soon as I said no more economic aid of any kind to any country that does that, they called back and they said, sir, it would be our great honor to take MS-13. We love them very much. We love them very much, sir. We'll take them back. At the heart of the Republican platform is our pledge to end this border nightmare and fully restore the sacred and sovereign borders of the United States of America, and we're going to do that on day one. That means two things on day one, right? Drill, baby, drill, and close our borders. And by the way, and I think everybody as a Republican, as a patriot in this room, and most Democrats, we want people to come into our country, but they have to come into our country legally. Legally. Less than 4 years ago, I handed this administration the strongest border in American history. But you can see on the chart that saved my life, that was the chart that saved my life. I said, look it, I'm so proud of it. I think it's one of the greatest, it was done by the Border Patrol, one of the greatest charts I've ever seen. It showed everything just like that. You know the chart. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Wow. Last time I put up that chart, I never really got to look at it. But without that chart, I would not be here today. Never got to look at it. I said, you got to see this chart. I was so proud of it, and by the time I got to there, I never got to see it that day. But I'm seeing it now, and I was very proud. If you look at the arrow on the bottom, that's the lowest level, the one on the bottom, heavy red arrow. That's the lowest level of illegal immigrants ever to come into our country in recorded history, right there. Right there. And that was my last week in office. And then you see what happened after I left. Look at the rest. And if you go out a little bit further, it's getting to be a little bit old, but I love it anyway, right? But you can go much higher with those numbers. Look what happened right after that. The invasion began. We had the opposite. We stopped the invasion. But the invasion that we stopped was peanuts by comparison to what happened after I left. Look at what happened after I left. They took over our country. We ended all catch and release. We shut down asylum fraud. We stopped human trafficking and forged historic agreements to keep illegal aliens on foreign soil. We want them to stay on their soil. Under the Trump administration, if you came in illegally, you were apprehended immediately and you were deported. You went right back. The current administration terminated every single one of those great Trump policies that I put in place to seal the border. I wanted a sealed border. Again, come in, but come in legally. You know how unfair it is? So many people, hundreds of thousands of people, have been working for years to come into our country. And now they see these people pour into our country at levels that are unprecedented. It's so unfair. And we're not going to do it. We're not going to stand for it. They suspended wall construction, ended remain in Mexico. We had a policy, remain in Mexico. You think that was easy to get from the Mexican government? But I said, you must give it to us. If you don't give it to us, there will be repercussions. And they gave it to us. But not easy. Canceled our Safe Third agreements. Demolished Title 42, implemented nationwide catch and release. That's catch and release where we catch them and release them into our country. We catch them and release them into Mexico. There's a slight difference. And took 93, this is the previous administration, 93 executive actions to throw open our border to the world. The entire world is pouring into our country because of this very foolish administration. The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country. They are coming in from every corner of the earth, not just from South America, but from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. You know, the press is always on me because I say this. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're emptying out their insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. Bad things are going to happen. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up while crime statistics all over the world are going down because they're taking their criminals and they're putting them into our country. A certain country, and I happen to like the president of that country very much, but he's been getting great publicity because he's a wonderful shepherd of the country. He says how well the country's doing because their crime rate is down. And he said he's training all of these rough people. They're rough. He's training them. And I've been reading about this for 2 years. I think, oh, that's wonderful. Let's take a look at it. But then I realized he's not training them. He's sending all of his criminals, his drug dealers, his people that are in jails, he's sending them all to the United States. And he's different in that he doesn't say that. He's trying to convince everybody what a wonderful job he does in running the country. Well, he doesn't do a wonderful job. And by the way, if I ran one of the countries, many countries from all over, I would be worse than any of them. I would have had the place totally emptied out already.
With that, unfortunately, we are going to have to end stream a little bit early tonight.
They think we're stupid.
I have to be up very early tomorrow, and I went to bed very late last night. Thank you all for watching, and you could please like and subscribe. Thanks to Mark and Ben for their commentary earlier. We'll be back tomorrow with discussion on the speech and any other further developments that may come as a result. I put a link in the chat where you can watch elsewhere. I really appreciate everyone watching. The speech has been very interesting. It's been a very incredible speech. Very historic speech for Donald Trump. So, yeah. With that, thank you all and good night.
All right. Bye, guys.